Hi, my name is Lisa Quiros, and this is my interpersonal communication project, Liberty University Human Services, 508, Fall 2012. Next slide. Within my presentation, I will be defining what is communication and interpersonal communication, what enlarging the conversation means, what my overarching goal is, what is my personal blend and potential barriers, what is noise pollution, what my plan of action is, and I will conclude with my summary and reference page. Next slide. What is communication? Stewart, author of Bridges Not Walls, stated, "Communication and communicating label the continuous complex collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making." According to Stewart, communication occurs in two facets, impersonal and interpersonal. Peterson also describes two levels of communication. Level 1, communicating gives and receives information and discusses points of view. Level 2, communicating, goes deeper than words. It moves us towards more satisfying relationships. Next slide. Interpersonal communication occurs when the people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. Elson stated, "Communication is more mere than oral or written expression. It involves tone and feeling too, with gestures, movement, action, and reflection upon the meaning of these things." Next slide. Enlarging the conversation. Enlarging the conversation is the ability to enhance the conversation by being an effective communicator. It's the ability to express oneself in a clear manner, yet practicing effective listening skills. This can be done by having an open mind and a non-judgmental spirit. We can enlarge the conversation by showing empathy and concern to those we communicate with. Next slide. We can also enlarge the conversation by identifying potential communication barriers, eliminate any potential noise pollution that would prohibit effective communication. Next slide. Overarching goal. My overarching goal is to improve my listening skills by becoming a level 1 listener. According to the Interpersonal Communication Skills Test, I'm an average listener that can make room for improvement. With my score being 79, I know that there are ways I can improve my listening skills. Burley Allen stated that level 1 listening requires listeners to refrain from judging the talker and place themselves in the other's position, attempting to see these things from his or her point of view. Next slide. Characteristics present in level 1 listening are awareness, acknowledgement, engagement, and empathy. Burley Allen stated that the overall focus is to listen from the heart, which opens the doorway to understanding, caring, and empathy. Therefore, my overarching goal is to be aware, acknowledge, engage, and show empathy to those around me. By doing this, I hope to achieve my goal and become a more effective communicator. Next slide. Background and behavioral blend. The socialization process results in our listening through filters. According to Burley Allen, all children live in a social environment that influence the type of behavioral patterns they develop. Being born in a dysfunctional home caused me to have difficulty developing interpersonal relationships. My social environment growing up was not the best, but I realized that it's made me who I am today. Next slide. There are 4 basic personality types. These types, also known as temperaments, blend together to determine your unique personality. My results of Uniquely You personality or professional profile report states that my DISC and personality blend is S for this is expected in me and SC this is me. Next slide. For this assignment, I will concentrate on my behavioral blend of S-type personality. With my behavioral blend being an S, I believe people expect me to be sensitive, submissive, still, and quiet. On the other hand, people see me as friendly, loyal, humble spirit, quiet demeanor, steady, stable, trustworthy, and dependable. Next slide. Negative aspects of being S-type personality is that I feel inadequate at times, unworthy, insecure. I run from stage or platforms. I'm paralyzed by fear, and I'm timid and soft-spoken when put on the spot. Next slide. Behavioral blend and how it affects my listening skills. Positive aspects that coincide with my S behavioral blend is that I'm people-oriented, outgoing, reserved, loyal listener, and patient. Negative aspects that can affect me from being an effective listener is that I tend to bring up past events, I don't like conflict or confrontation, and I avoid conversation because I'm shy and introverted. Next slide. Potential barriers. The first potential barrier that prohibits me from having effective communication can be described by Burley Allen as perception, reception, and attention. Burley Allen stated that listening is a highly selective subjective experience. Information that conflicts with the listener's present ideas and beliefs may simply be tuned out. The second barrier is known as biased listening. A biased listener tends to distort the message positively or negatively, often getting so emotionally involved that listening efficiency suffers. With that being said, I understand that in order for me to overcome potential barriers, I must listen to every aspect of the conversation and practice positive perception, and eliminate any biased listening that would cause me to distort the message the speaker is trying to convey. Next slide. Defensive barriers to communication. Richardson described defensive barriers to communication can be the result of a challenge to private or public perception of ourselves, desire to be perfect in the public eye, lack of self-confidence, fear of being found to be less than what was previously thought, fear of loss of status, or fear of rejection. Next slide. What is noise pollution? There are two types of noise pollution, internal and external. Noise pollution can be defined as excessive displeasing human, animal, or machine-created environmental noise that disrupts the activity or balance of human or animal behavior, life. Next slide. Internal and external pollution. Internal noise pollution includes our own thoughts, assumptions, judgments, or anything internally that can prohibit us from listening effectively. External noise pollution can include cell phones, busy crowds, loud machinery, TVs, radios, or anything else that can distract us from listening effectively. Next slide. The following solutions can help overcome noise pollution. With media being so prominent in our society, it would be a great idea to turn off or silence all electronics. Retreat to a quiet place for effective communication. Focus and give your undivided attention to the speaker. Use mindful listening and avoid any negative body language that could distract or perceive you as not interested. Next slide. My plan of action. My plan of action will be to implement the Talk Listener card that's presented in Peterson's text, Why Don't We Listen Better? I believe it's a great tool that will enhance my level 1 listening. I also want to work on becoming more assertive and confident as an individual. I will do this by believing in myself and take chances when I feel I need to step out of the box. Last but not least, I want to work on controlling my emotions. I plan to do this by taking a step back and evaluating the situation. Next slide. My summary. Effective listening holds the key to interpersonal communication. The Bible states, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may be benefit to those who listen." Ephesians 4:29. The Lord desires us to be wholesome and healthy, to have wholesome. The Lord desires us to have wholesome and healthy relationships. We must learn and adapt new ways of communicating so that we can speak efficiently and also listen effectively. Thank you, and God bless.